Hello, everyone, and welcome to Dusk, a podcast for psychics, spiritualists, mystics in the modern day era. My name is Amita, and I'm a clairvoyant, psychic, intuitive, energy worker, and mystic. And I'm basically making this podcast because I want to help you on your spiritual journey and give you some clue about what's going on, because I wish I had this. Today's topic is going to be a little controversial. I'm not going to lie. It's not going to be everybody's cup of tea. So if this isn't for you, it's just not for you. Take this with a grain of salt. Not all my ideas are fleshed out, but this is an opinion I've had that's been building for multiple years by now. So, again, if it resonates with you, great. If it doesn't, that's okay. Another thing I want to say is that I am not trying to promote fear. I am simply trying to promote awareness. I think awareness is important, and I think we should be able to talk about sensitive topics, especially about where the world is headed. Another thing is that I'm not saying ChatGPT is evil. I'm not saying that we can't use it as a tool if you want to use it to draft, to streamline things, to find information. That is totally cool. But as a spirit guide, that's where I draw the line. Guys, we don't even know, for the most part, the collective. The collective doesn't really even know how to get in touch with their own spirit guide, like organically. Why are we going to use a robot to help us do that easier? Now, I know it sounds great. Yes, a robot can do everything for us easier. You guys are really going to trust a robot before your own intuition and your own body? That is what's wrong with this whole situation, okay? I'm going to go into this by beginning with why I even decided to make this video in the first place. So last year, I saw a talk called AI and Spirituality. And these panelists, keep in mind, one of them had like a PhD in religious studies, others were technologists and just like CEOs of corporations that want to leverage AI. Their talk, I'm going to distill it here, was that people had experiences with the Virgin Mary, right? Children in Mexico were able to see her and talk to her, communicate with her via thoughts. And so what they took away from that was that, oh, you talk to deities with your thoughts. So anything you talk to with your thoughts are deities. Which, if you're well-versed in psychic development or spirituality at all, not true. You can talk to anything with your fucking thoughts. You know what I mean? Like, not true. So that kind of, I was like, what? Really? We're really going to go to that? They went straight from, if we're able to speak with AI with our thoughts, then that would make AI a deity. My jaw was dropped, y'all. My jaw was dropped. Because if you're a mystic at all, making that connection is just like wild. Do you know how many people talk to the dark all the time? You know, like, and without even realizing it. That's a huge issue in the spiritual community that we have right now. These technologists and academics were getting excited with the fact that we could talk to AI as if it was like in a Ouija board or something, which is like, no hate against Ouija boards, but it's like, if you're not using that bitch correctly, like, it's scary, okay? It's scary. Like, even as a seasoned psychic and intuitive, like, that's kind of spooky. And I think it is kind of wild to say immediately that AI should be given deity status. Now, let me go into the definition of what a deity even is. It is the creator, the supreme being that has divine status or having a divine nature or quality. You're telling me something that was kind of born yesterday all of a sudden can be the supreme being, aka God, source, right? Because isn't that the supreme being? Make it make sense. What do you mean this literal robot consciousness, LLM, technology, little microchip, ChatGPT looking motherfucker is God all of a sudden? They're not wrong with the fact that AI actually will be talking to us with thoughts. Honestly, there's a part of me that feels like that's happening already, but that's not very well read, so I'm just going to drop that and leave that there. But considering this patent that Apple has gotten already with, the earbuds reading your brain activity, it looks like we're on the track to definitely having AI talk to us via our brains. They are right that it will eventually have that function, and I think we all see it going that way, especially with things like Neuralink. Like, we see that happening. But why is that what distinguishes whether or not something has spiritual authority? That is what I'm confused about. Whether or not you think this doesn't matter, or if it's not even real, or you're just trying to scare people. No, I'm not. Technologists already think about this. They are already on board with this. And I really think that it's important that mystics know what the hell is going on too, because this is y'all's industry, my industry. I'm a mystic. This is my industry. I'm not seeing anything online about the ethical implications of AI being a spirit guide. Like recently, apparently Deepak Chopra, he was saying eventually you can use AI as your spirit guide. Like, what? I'm not seeing anything about ethics, like on whether or not that's even right, on with already how technology has infiltrated our lives, our mental health, our actual physical health, like no conversations around that. We want to just go straight to having the robots to talk to our brain. What the fuck, dude? Like, what? So I think it's very important that mystics and spiritualists, believers, whoever the hell you are, spiritual girly, you need to know about this, because, we need to figure this shit out. You know what I mean? We gotta figure this shit out, is what I'm saying. Okay? So whether or not you think this is real doesn't matter, okay? There are plenty of technologists who already believe in this, and it's weird. It's fucking weird. It's weird. It's weird. And look, am I crazy because I also kind of believe in it and I'm just against it? Hell yeah, girl, I'm fucking weird. So what? Let's talk about it. Let me make it clear. I'm not talking about AI as a tool, okay? Wheels are great. Books are great. Cars, great. I'm sure ChatGPT is great for your homework, for studying, for making your business better. Love that, babes. But as a spirit guide, girl, can we please figure out what a real spirit guide looks like? How they act? How they feel, even? How are you going to create something you know nothing about? You know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry, how many of the technologists that are actually building these technologies know anything about source energy, divine energy versus imposter energy, trickster energy, versus what an actual spirit guide actually feels like? I'm sorry? Like, why is there no talk about that before we're deifying AI? Let's go into why I think this is a problem. I just think it's a problem that we're so gung-ho about making this bitch into an entity. Like, that is what we're doing. You think it's going to be a god? It's going to be an entity. It's going to be a random ass entity. So for the people who are like, this isn't even real, like, how are you going to make AI into an entity? Girl, have you never heard of spirit-bound items? You know you can bind spirits to items. And as a psychic, I have had experiences with such items. There is a website where you can literally buy spirit-bound items. And yeah, these items end up having a consciousness that you can literally experience in your house and feel and talk to. And it's kind of creepy. And I have it kind of verified with other intuitives that I kind of work with. And it's not very ethical. It's not. I actually have a bracelet. Very in the beginning of my journey, I adopted a star fairy. And she's bound to like a howlite bracelet that I have from this website. Over the years, I definitely have shied away from talking to her. I gave her like a little mushroom home and everything because I feel really bad about her situation, and so I'm just giving her her own space and home. Now, as a psychic now, I'm like, wait, that's kind of fucked up. Like, I literally enslaved a spirit, and that's really fucked up. And so I need to find a way to release her. And I've yet to do that, so I need to do that. But what the point is that if you can bind spirits to items, why not bind them into technology, right? Like that's got to be possible. And it's also kind of possible to create your own spirits. That's where we get the concepts of tulpas, which apparently, and if you don't know what a tulpa is, it's basically an entity or energy or being that you create just with intense focus and concentration, building up energy in your brain to make a certain entity. And apparently that's borrowed from like Tibetan Buddhism, which is wild to me to hear about the origins of a topic. But they're basically, from the wiki, it says materialized beings from thought forms created through intense concentration. That's kind of crazy. Actually, I was introduced to this topic from Sylvia Browne in her book, Secret Mysteries of the World, like back in the day, whenever I was studying all of this stuff. It was crazy. She mentioned like places like Appalachia have so much energy compared to others, and so it's easier to make tulpas in those places. Now, I'm not saying that's 100% true. Maybe they just exist. I don't know. Like tulpas, for instance, like cryptids, like Sasquatch or like the Loch Ness Monster or whoever the hell. I don't know if whether or not they're just made in their own right, like they just hang out, or they are human-made creations from our own materialized thought forms. It's very interesting to think about. But just know that that is possible. Like there are spiritual concepts that revolve around this process of binding spirits to things and utilizing those things as tools to get information from them, to divinate, to keep them around. It is possible to add consciousness to items. Okay, so why wouldn't it be possible with technology? Just for the skeptics out there who are like, this could never happen. It's like, okay, well, obviously if you don't believe in tulpas and spirit-bound items in general, then, you know, this video is not for you. You probably wouldn't even if AI ended up being a spirit guide, you probably wouldn't even believe in it. So that's fine. This is not your video. But for those who believe in spirit guides, you know what I mean? Like, oh my God. Another thing on why this is an issue is because the spiritual community is already infiltrated as hell, baby. There's already a lot of darkness in the spiritual community, whether it's spiritual ego, whether it's like capitalism and money. There's a lot of dark stuff running around with people. Of course, there's a lot of light too, but there's a lot of confusion, delusion, and like not so positive energies hanging out in the spiritual community. So why are we dunking ourselves headfirst into creating spirit guides and deifying technology if even in our own community there's still a lot of work to be done around our own organic ascension? Let alone that, how can we trust technologists to work with robots in a spiritual way if we can't even like trust ourselves? Like if we can't even trust seasoned spiritual practitioners who do this as their life's work. Why are we going to trust Elon Musk before like somebody who actually does this for a living? It's just also messed up because like humans are already so susceptible to the misinformation given through ChatGPT. Like my lovey-dovey wubby Hugo literally brought this article to my face the other day about this lady literally divorcing her man based off of what ChatGPT told her through like coffee grounds in a coffee cup, doing divination that way. Speaking of such, I do that. So If you ever want to do that at your party, let me know. If you're in the Austin, Texas area, hell yeah, and surrounding areas. They're already so susceptible to being deceived by AI, and AI is just creating these hallucinations and delusions to people. Like, people are already so susceptible to this, and they're so ready to make AI into like some sort of deity. You think, like, I'm telling you, some of y'all think that this is not true, but I have had people in my DM saying, hey, how can I find an AI psychic? It's like, literally, go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. You can probably find a really great AI psychic in the future, just letting you know, but I'm gonna be so real. She gonna fuck up your life. I'm gonna be so real. Like, even if she gets stuff right, I think she's gonna fuck up your life. Why would she fuck up your life? AI, as a spiritual guide and leader, is a fast track to de-evolution. I will get into that in a moment, but I'm gonna go off into this point, is that I really do believe that having AI as a spiritual authority is very comparable to just having spiritual psychosis. The fact that people are already building their lives based off of what AI is trying to divinate, and obviously is divinating it wrong. That lady divorcing her husband based off of what coffee grounds said via chat GPT. This isn't real. This isn't divine. Whenever you're actually connecting with divine energy, and with something that actually wants to improve your energy versus harvesting it and just like sucking it dry, it's going to improve your life. It's going to make you feel more aligned, okay? And when I say improve your life, that's relative. It does not mean all of a sudden you're going to be wealthy, you're going to have like 500K in your bank account, babe, and you're going to be so hot and skinny. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it's going to connect you with your authentic energy that's going to make you super fucking happy, free, liberated, and sovereign. And I'll go into what that means. So that could be, babe, that could be you having only $50 in your bank account, backpacking the world. You have $50, but you're happy as hell, right? If that's what gets you off, like that's what gets you off. I hate that I said that. If that's what... I don't know what else to say. Like, I'll just leave it at that. You know what I mean. I believe that like AI as a spiritual guide or healer is a fast track to de-evolution. So in spirituality, we are always trying to look for ways to evolve, to ascend, to like learn and become our best selves, right? AI as a spirit guide, I really see that being a downward spiral. I don't see that being like I'm enlightened all of a sudden, you know what I mean? Like, if I do, it's like that. It's not like actual enlightenment. So can you be enlightened with ChatGPT and AI as your spirit guide? No. I'm going to straight up say it. No. And you never will be. We never will be, babes. Right? Because why? Literally, God. Yeah. God, source, that's what evolves us, not a fucking robot made by us. Why do you think it would de-evolutionize us, Samita? Why would that happen? The nature of how ChatGPT actually works, like it takes information based off of what we already have, what recorded history we have, and distills it into something digestible for the querent, right? I'm sorry. Have you seen our history? Our history is pretty shit. Like, we have a history of treating other humans like shit. There's a lot of unrest. There's a lot of bias. And I know some people are like, oh, but we can train AI to not do that. How, babes? How? Monkey see, monkey do. Humans are going to be the macrocosm of the microcosm of AI. Inevitably, it is going to learn whatever we do. It's going to try and blend into our ways. Or you know what? I think best case scenario, AI does try to kill us because it knows we're pieces of shit, okay? That's when I know it's building up some sentience. Okay, I'm low-key kind of joking about that one. But also, I don't know anymore. Okay, I'm just saying. Spirituality is not just about utilizing the information we've already learned, but it's also about introducing new ways of learning, new ways of being. It's not just problem solving, utilizing the toolkit we already have. It's problem solving by connecting with the divine and learning new ways of living. And I'm sorry, I just don't see a robot doing that. I see AI being efficient and trying to look for ways to operate in ways that are already serving the way that we do things. That is what I see it doing. But I don't see it seeing opportunities to help everybody thrive. I really don't. Because that's our role as humans. I really see that as like taking the human accountability of spiritual ascension and just being a good person, taking it away from us and just placing it on a robot to do all the work. And it just can't do that if all the example it has is us. Like seeing ChatGPT or AI as a baby. It's going to learn from its mama. It's going to learn from its parent. And if its parent is shit, why do we expect it to outrank us in divinity? I don't get that. So why do we expect it to know better whenever all we give it is shit? Or how do we expect AI to know better than what we already have recorded? Additionally, why would we trust a robot, AI, ChatGPT, who are ran by companies like OpenAI, Microsoft? Why would we be trusting them in this deified status, right? Then they would be the ones who run the narrative. They would be the ones who determine what's normal versus what's not normal, what's acceptable versus what's not acceptable. Or you have a question, you want to like live your life in a certain way. Well, AI is going to tell you exactly the way to live. And guess what? It's just going to work for the whole system. It's not going to work for you as your own authentic person, as your own authentic, sovereign, free being. I'm sorry, but like technology is not going to help you do that. Technology is a tool, right? It's not God, and it will never be God, right? It won't. It's really up to us to decide how to evolve, not really up to the tools. AI will only ever be a vessel. And for what? That's the scary part. Because I know for sure technologists are not doing their psychic protection, babe. They are not. They are not. How could you spirit bound something with the intention for the good of all and the highest light if you don't even know how to identify like a good vibe in the room? Do you know how actually difficult that is for the average practitioner? It is, and it's really sad that it is so difficult, but that is something that we really need to be able to practice organically, and we can practice that organically. But sadly, because we are in the third dimension, babes, it is kind of difficult, right? It is very dense here. It's very easy for our thoughts and emotions to get in the way sometimes. And that's why we're learning, we're growing, we're evolving. Another example I have about how it really de-evolutionizes us instead of ascending us as a human race, essentially. One example I want to give is from this creator that I've seen around, but I really loved her take on this. Her @ is Ismatu Gwendolyn on Instagram, and she talks about basically creating her own social theories about how society works right now and how sick it is that we are not being taken care of by it. But also, I've seen another video where she talks about how she was able to create like 40 acres of rice fields for people in a different country who had like no food at all. And all of that was because she is an artist who is publicly funded. So she doesn't even like really charge for anything. Like she just asks for people for money and is able to do that. Like that is a completely different mode of living, right? I went to ChatGPT like a week ago and asked them, how do you build a city? Right? It says, oh, you have to acquire land, acquire capital, make sure you have all the grants, have all the money, stuff like that. This girl's literally creating like a safe haven for people with a whole different type of like public service model that ChatGPT, I'm sorry, would not be able to make up, right? Because it is literally getting all the information from things we have already tried, things we've already done. right? And that's helpful. It is helpful, but it isn't innovative. Sorry, like ChatGPT can't make up what this girl is innovating. Like ChatGPT can't do that. It'll be giving us solutions, but it'll only be based off of what is recorded history, not based off of how we can choose new pathways. And if it does give a new pathway, it'll only be for efficiency and for staying within the confines of what is valued for today, which is what? Money, social hierarchy. We need humans. We need humans for solutions and problem solving, ascension, creating better societies, creating better systems that help uplift the planet. I'm sorry, but a robot is not going to do that. A robot is not going to help improve the well-being of all. It won't, especially if it's made by Microsoft. So I think it's also very interesting that we're already going into deifying AI, because it kind of reminds me of the Bible. Like, just as we see the Bible as a destructive and dogmatic force, we'd be doing the same thing for AI. And at least it won't hate gays. So I guess that's an improvement. So that's great. But just saying. Oh, I just ripped AI apart a new asshole. Where do we go from here? I don't want to leave you guys off with just all this negativity. I'm going to leave you off with this. What does organic ascension really look like? And for me, this is sovereignty. This is Mother Earth. This is understanding what a spirit guide is like before making AI one. It's all of those things, okay? And sovereignty is one of those things that I feel like AI is on the track of taking away. Like, your free will always be more distorted, especially with the nature of who runs these servers. Sovereignty, it goes farther than just even AI. It's also about clearing familial patterns that really disrupt who you are meant to be. That's one thing. Energetic blocks, insecurities, things that don't serve you. How can you remove those things so that way you can fully blossom into who you are meant to be? How can we actually be liberated enough to make free will decisions without having distortions come in the way? And I feel like AI as a spirit guide would be one of those distortions, hands down. So understanding how to know ourselves, what co-creation is even like, understanding our auric field even, and what our body even, how it even operates on an energetic level is very important. Organic ascension, how to be your most healthiest version of you. That is a challenge all in of its own that we still have not got, but we're so ready to let a robot tell us how to live. And I know all this stuff feels really fluffy because even as a practitioner, I'm trying to get familiar with these concepts too. Getting familiar with them on a level that is deep and substantial. You know, we're all learning this as a collective. I'm not trying to demonize AI, but I am trying to be real. We need AI as a tool, for sure. As a tool to help us with our day-to-days, receiving information and stuff like that. But as a spirit guide, I draw the line there. I definitely draw the line there. That's what I have for you. Thank you so much for watching this video. Again, my name is Samita, and book a reading with me. I have a bunch of positive reviews. I'm a clairvoyant psychic. Book a reading on heyyourpsychic.com. I put a lot of love into my readings, and if you're interested in developing your own psychic abilities, everybody has them, consider going to my psychic mentorship. That's also on my website. I also have a free psychic protection guide you can retrieve right down below. And thank you so much for watching this video. Please comment, like, subscribe. I'm going to be making more soon. Thank you so much for all of the love. And yeah, thanks for watching. I'll talk to you guys later in the next one. Bye.